So, today, what we're going to do is explore something that can change everything about how we relate without needing to say the perfect words.
Yeah. So we're talking about the art of attunement, listening beyond the words. And that kind of listening, it communicates that, I'm really here with you and I'm not leaving and you're safe. We're both safe here. So we're going to get to explore some of the subtle cues that communicate that neuroception of safety and practices that can help us to really deepen our relational listening. And we'll sprinkle in a few stories of repair through the attunement process.
For me, is tone, the tone of our voice. So it's really acknowledging that warmth matters, and it's not performative. It's not like, okay, I got to say this. It's really grounded, again, a felt sense of it, and a tone that says, oh, honey, I'm really here. I'm here with you.
Welcome back to the Healing You Method podcast. I'm Gloria Lybecker, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Gail Donohue. And we have, unfortunately, the news to share that Gabe Doe was unable to join us today unexpectedly, and hopefully we'll be able to loop him back in down the track.
Right. Yes, it was unfortunate. So today, what we're going to do is explore something that can change everything about how we relate without needing to say the perfect words.
Yeah. So we're talking about the art of attunement, listening beyond the words. And that kind of listening, it communicates that, I'm really here with you and I'm not leaving and you're safe. We're both safe here.
Yeah, because so often what we need to heal, it isn't the advice, it isn't the problem solving, it's the real felt experience of being felt that someone gets you.
Yeah, that feeling felt is really powerful. So we're going to get to explore some of the subtle cues that communicate that neuroception of safety and practices that can help us to really deepen our relational listening. And we'll sprinkle in a few stories of repair through the attunement process because healing is relational.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's start simple. Let's just start with attunement. Like when you say attunement, what is it that you mean, Gloria?
Well, for me, attunement is that moment to moment experience of really being met. I like to say, you get gotten, right?
Get
And
caught.
it's not just the story that I'm telling to somebody, but it's what my nervous system is communicating underneath it. And so someone would, maybe it's unconscious for most of us, but it's possible then to really be tracking tone, pace, breath, even body posture, just the emotional weather system in there. And that it is saying, in a way, I'm really here with you, right?
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's really listening, like for me, really listening with my whole body and not just my ears. And, with so much of it, it's happening anyways, but we might not be hearing the messages that we need to hear because it's so attuned to, to make sure that we're safe.
Right. And also, when you say that, it reminds me, Gail, a lot of people are conditioned not to truly listen, but
Mhm.
just to hear for the next opening so they can talk, or they're just kind
Yeah.
of skimming the surface because they're really thinking about something else. I mean, that's automatic processes from our conditioning, right?
Yes, from our conditioning. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so the what you're bringing up, though, is that really important distinction um, is how we need to really be fully present, really embodied. So what distinction would you make between those, as far as what attunement truly is rather than what it isn't?
Mm.
It's
Okay,
really
yeah,
deep and
I mean, that's a good question. Well, I guess it just comes back to that conditioning piece being so powerful and unknown to us, so that it becomes listening. It's just finding out what we need, like we're listening to find out what they're saying to correct us, to judge us, or control the outcome. And then we're going, okay, what do I need to do to change in
Oh,
order
right.
that I could fit in or I could belong? And we're not actually knowing what's really going on inside us, what the truth is for us. Does that make
Yeah.
sense to you?
Yeah. It's like we've had the conditioning that we're wrong. There's something about us that's wrong. And that
Yeah,
they're just, we must have done something wrong. We got to fix it. We got to learn what to do different. So our nervous system actually learned that words aren't safe. And so
yeah,
then attunement is like a brand new language,
yeah.
one that repairs that really old imprint that we've been talking about.
Yes, absolutely. And so for our listeners, how about if we um, talk about some practical experiences and some practical things that
Yeah.
we could do and explore and name some of the subtle cues that communicate safety.
Yeah. Well, for me, one that I really listen for within my own self and practice
Mhm.
is, I move quick. And I learned to move quick so I could get a lot done, attend to a lot. And yet when I talk quickly, it actually might be anxiety that's running me. And so when I notice that I'm talking really quickly, then I want to just slow my pace just slightly. And then that's offering regulation. Or if I'm talking to you and you slow your pace down, there's going to be that co-regulation that'll happen. That's like magic. If I'm a little anxious and you speak quietly and you're breathing in your body, it brings me back because you're offering me regulation without telling me, Gloria, calm down. Gloria, slow down. You know,
Right.
which I do
Yeah.
get told, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
So you named pace, and what
Yeah.
comes to mind for me is tone, the
Mhm.
tone of our voice. So it's really acknowledging that warmth matters, and it's not performative. It's not like, okay, I
Yeah.
got to say this.
Yeah.
It's really grounded, again, a felt sense of it, and a tone that says, "Oh, honey, I'm really here. I'm here with you."
I love that too, the warmth. And within that, leads to another one, which are those micro yeses. So little signals like those that says I'm here. I mean, just it's like the breath, the tone, the hum, nodding, that eye contact that's soft, not piercing.
Yeah,
It's a gentle like yeah, go on.
yeah.
And those are confirmations that help us to relax and really be more present.
Hmm. Yeah, and as you were naming those, it was good for me to hear them because I realized I did some of those just
Yeah, I
naturally,
did.
right? So yeah, it's interesting to have it named. So those micro yeses. And another one, which I'm sure we have heard about, is if we're with someone that's taking the breaths that are gentle and calming, just like you had said, that co-regulation. Um, if we're with someone that isn't going, breathing up in their upper chest and lungs, then we start to attune to that and then feel our own breath start to return and have some relaxation.
Yeah, that's so true with the horses too. I just want to give a nod to the horses, how when I notice that I am doing that kind of breathing, my horse will actually take that really long breath. And it helps me to come back into my own presence as well. The other one that comes up for me, and have you ever been talking and you're not quite done talking and the other person just jumps in?
Yeah.
So there's a misattunement there. And so not jumping in too quickly, really allowing, and I especially practice this, my children taught this to me. When a child's talking to you, you kind of pause and you wait to see because they might just be thinking and going to say something else. And so, just pausing for a few seconds and not making it about me, letting the person really feel complete in their expression is so
Yeah,
important.
yeah, it is important. And I think without words is exactly what we're talking about, is not using words. The nervous system is signaling to the other person, oh, I'm here with you. And
Yeah.
you don't have to rush. You don't have to worry. You don't have to um, dive into that fear that might be happening for you. I'm okay with going slow and fully giving you the time to hear what's
Yeah.
true for you and let you say what is true for you. And that really helps that nervous system get a felt sense, again, that felt sense that their feelings aren't too much.
Yeah. Well, and it gives, in my experience, it allows someone to recognize they can't get it wrong. It
Mm,
is their expression. But so many, I know I was conditioned to look outside of myself for the cues that I was okay. But the truth is I am okay. And so when I'm with someone like you, Gail, where you've developed these skill sets, when I go limbic, when I go into my old patterns,
mhm.
you help remind my nervous system that I am okay and that I can't get me wrong. And
Right.
so, that brings us to how big it is that being able to make a repair, a relational repair, and
Yeah.
how to even name that. Um, and again, when I get on a roll and I can interrupt, being able to say, "Wait, I don't, I would really like to slow this down and continue," or checking in and saying, "Well, how is this for you to hear?" And have it be both of us in the conversation rather than I'm just broadcasting.
Right. Yes. And so I think you're bringing an important point up here about attunement. It isn't striving for perfection, and it
Mm,
isn't perfection. It's really responsiveness. So there is a flow between each person, and it's doesn't have any judgment with it because, gosh, we're human. So we're going to have little bumpy things that are
yeah.
going to come up all the time. And, one thing that's true is the safest people aren't the ones who never rupture.
Mm,
um, because you can get a sense something isn't quite right, something's being hidden or something they're not quite saying, and it starts to rub you a little bit like sandpaper.
yeah.
The safest people are the ones who do rupture, like we all do, but then they know how to return and
Mhm.
invite you to return as well and hold you with that conversation. So now that we're talking about repairs, Gloria, let's talk about why attunement breaks down, because it does.
It does, as you were just alluding to, it's like we are human, and ruptures are pretty much guaranteed in our society, in our world. And usually it happens because of something within us. And it's because so if I use myself as an example, something in me actually kind of hijacked me away inside of myself that it was more important than actually staying present. For example, I get anxious. And when I get anxious, maybe I shift into trying to fix something or I get uncomfortable. So then I want to divert the attention and I want to change the subject. And it's an attempt to, it's a compensating pattern that I learned to try to feel safe.
Yeah, and as you share those, there's a couple that comes to mind for me. If there's something that's happening with a conversation, and if I have a sense of feeling helpless, and it could be a little bit of that fixing coming in there, but I then offer advice. And, the person didn't ask for advice. They
Oh.
probably just want to be heard. But I'm needing to soothe myself and my own nervous system activation.
Mm.
Or these two that are coming to, like, I can see myself, especially like in parenting, with having done that. And the
Yeah.
other one is if I get triggered by what's happening, and want to start defending myself and
Mm.
giving some reasons and some rationale why. Well, it was because of this. It was because of that. And I did try to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Um, so then what ends up happening, we we move away from connecting with the other person
Mhm.
and we're just protecting ourselves. But a little bit of gentleness here for me, saying, acknowledging that, well, it's something that I got conditioned to do really well in this society.
That's
So
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and when we're empowered to own that without judgment, even if others do, because we've been conditioned to judge people, this is where I like to really slow it down within myself and really check in and recognize, well, what's my intention right now? Do I have the, do I just want to be seen as I'm good? I'm smart, I'm helpful, or am I truly present?
Mm,
Truly present.
yeah. And like that question is attunement in practice. Like that's huge.
It is
So
really good.
huge.
And it's actually a muscle that we get to practice because, until we actually have that experience, we may not even recognize that it's available. But
Hmm.
it brings us back into where we can be in full choice. We
Yeah.
truly can.
Yeah. Well, how about if we give our listeners a few practices that they can try today?
Yeah.
And yeah, I've got one that could be in terms of looking at just going 10% slower. Just 10% in your listening. So it's not, not we're not putting a huge burden of a big change on ourselves, and it's not
Mhm.
dramatic, but just slowing down enough that your body can stay present. So, maybe you can check in with your face. How are your eyes? Can you
Mm.
soften your eyes? Can you slow down your nodding if you're nodding with the other person? And let that person finish their sentence, and
Yeah.
then even take a pause before responding.
Oh, I love that. It
Yeah.
gives, it's like a pregnant pause. You just take a
Yeah.
moment, an extra breath or something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, Another one that I find helpful because it really supports me to be intentional in attunement is to really track and name what's happening. So that might sound something like, "Ooh, well, Gail, as you're sharing this, I notice your voice got a little quieter." And that kind of invites the quietness. It makes space for it.
Mm.
Or, you know, I don't know, something about I can feel your energy drop here. Are you okay to stay here with this? And
Mm.
to get consent. Maybe they started to share something and now they really want to back away from it, and that's okay. It's that listening that's beyond words. It's empathetic listening as well.
Hmm. Yeah. And I know that you have certainly done those kinds of things with me when we've been sharing, and like even now, like it just brings a bit of emotion, a bit of like
Mm.
teariness to my eyes to know that, oh my gosh, someone's pausing and slowing down enough and really attuning to me and naming that. It's so,
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Mm.
And yeah, a little bit with what you're doing there is like I wanted to mention another practice is reflecting what you have a sense of is the need for the person, not
Mm.
just reflecting the story. So that is a big upgrade and
It is.
really getting into being a PhD in terms of attunement. But instead of saying something like, "Oh, you're hearing someone complaining, say, about their work situation and a colleague or a boss, and you've just heard some of the story there about it. And instead of saying, "Oh, so your boss said this," and you repeat some of the story, I would just say, try to look at what might be the need that's there for the person. It could be something like, "Oh, it sounds like you really needed respect." Is that something that was really activating your nervous system?
Yeah.
Or another big one, it sounds like you needed to matter,
Mm.
or were you just really longing to be heard?
Yeah, and I love how you end those each as like a question. You're checking in. You're not telling them what they need. You're
Yeah,
asking them. And that's
right.
really a reflective listening that's attuned. So
Hmm.
that's beautiful. And
Yeah,
then also one that I tend to use a lot because being somatic, really embodying these practices is important to me. And that's like in gently inviting, I'm wondering, would you be willing to notice what's your body telling you right now? Because when we can slow down and actually drop into our body, there's information that's readily available to us. And the mind can't name it unless there's access to it. Mm.
right, right. And that makes me think of the research these days is just affirming that more and more, that how
Yeah.
important the body is, because we do know we have people have said that there's a heart brain and a gut brain.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and with someone that you love, or not, you're just with a colleague and a friend, you might ask, so if I may, would it be okay? What are you noticing in your chest right now as you say that? Or you might ask, if your body could speak and it had one word right now, what
Mm.
might it be?
Yeah. I love these questions because they're ones that I use in that I partner with my horses around with people.
Hmm.
And just taking a moment just to drop in, it makes such a difference. So I wonder, um, I'd like to invite our listeners into a short practice right now. But if you're driving, please keep your eyes open. But you can still tune in. Just you can
Right.
still tune in.
Yeah. So let's just begin by just taking one long, slow breath in. Yeah. And then,
Yeah. So bring to mind someone that you care about, someone perhaps that you would really enjoy feeling closer to. And then ask yourself, when they talk, do I speed up or slow down? And notice, do I stay curious or do I try to solve something?
mhm,
And as they're speaking in your mind's eye, ask yourself, do I listen for emotion, content? And just notice what you notice without judgment.
mhm. Yeah, I love that. Just notice what you notice without judgment.
Mm.
Yeah. And then after you've asked yourself those questions, then there's an invitation to gently choose one attunement gesture that you can offer next time. perhaps having a longer pause before you reply, and maybe a softer tone in your voice,
Mm.
in your eyes, a softening of your eyes,
Mm.
and perhaps a simple reflection like, oh, that makes sense. Or, I'm here.
Mm.
I'm staying here.
Yeah. I can feel my belly relax as you name that. I was imagining my husband actually. So one breath, one choice, one return. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And Gloria, I'm just thinking right now, maybe it would be helpful for our listeners if we shared some repair moments because it's
That would
good
be
to
good.
have um,
Yeah.
examples.
Yeah, it is. And I've got a really recent, simple one with my
Mm.
husband. And that it's, you know, he was sharing something and it was actually a bit tender. And I interrupted with what I thought was helpful. And I could feel him just basically shut down, pull back his energy. The happy news is I recognize it in the moment. Sometimes I don't, and so later then I'll need to come back and make a longer repair. Yet in the moment I did notice it. And so I was able to say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I realized I interrupted you and I was feeling anxious. And would it be okay if I start over? Because I'm listening. Please continue." And it's
Mm.
like my body language, all of that comes in, and I could see his shoulders drop and him relax, and the room softened, and that's repair.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's so important. Naming what happened without making the other person responsible for your discomfort. And
Yeah.
as you shared that story, what popped up for me, and it's sort of on the other side, where you can sort of make a repair kind of for yourself and sort of influence the dialogue. Again, it was an example that I had with my husband and was sharing something with him, and immediately there was into the problem solving and the next steps to do. And I just kind of, I'm even celebrating it more now. I realize that, oh my gosh, I went and slowed down and connected with myself to realize, okay, this is not what I want. And I was able to say, I really don't need any, I really don't need any solutions right in this moment. Right now, I just really need you to hear me and,
Mm,
and just, let me know that you're understanding. I don't need any solutions right now. And so,
I
I'm
love
thinking,
that.
oh, okay, I took some responsibility for me to sort of help name what I needed instead of it potentially going into a rupture where then I was going to have to come back and do a repair. So I'm celebrating. I saw that and was
Yeah.
able to connect enough to change the conditioning course that it might have normally gone on.
Yeah, that's kind of, I'm, excuse me, I find some amusement at this and some gratitude too. I know I've actually heard my husband share with other men, like,
Mm.
oh no, you need to just really listen. They don't want you to fix it. Many times
Yeah,
he'll remember that, but
yeah.
it's important as well. I will own that I have learned that when I want my husband or someone to listen, when I make that request right at the beginning, is this a good time where you can
Mm.
you can really listen? That really does support. And that's me being attuned in advance. So it's really proactive, like a pre-rehearsal.
Yeah,
Because
right.
repair is, I don't know, repairs, I think there's an analogy with a rose bush. If you want healthy rose bushes, you need to prune them back.
Mm.
And then the stems, the stalks, they get stronger and thicker. And that's kind of a repair. When we have a rupture, it's kind of like we just got pruned back and it kind of can hurt. But when we do the rupture, it thickens the relationship, it strengthens it. So it can be so healing rather than just floating along, everything sunshine and daisies, because this teaches your nervous system that we can lose each other. We can lose that connection, and we can find our way back.
Yes, so true and so wonderful.
Thank
And the
you.
key thing is that, you know, for most of us, I would say, that is the relational lesson that we never got because
Mm.
we were with other humans that were triggered and didn't know how to do it either. So how did we learn how to do it?
Yeah.
So
It just takes
it,
one person.
yeah. And yes, it just takes one person and we can do it. We can become better with our communication and our attunement and our relationships and healing.
Yeah, there is community for you. Reach out. So if you take nothing else from today, take this that attunement, it's not a technique. It really is a relationship with presence, and you can develop that muscle.
Yes. And subtle cues are so important. They matter. Your pace, your breath, your tone, your willingness to slow down and pause at times, and your
Mm.
willingness to return.
Yeah. So if this resonates with you, I want you to remember attunement begins with you. You can be that one person. And before you attempt attunement with others, start here. What's
Mm.
happening in me right now? Connect with yourself, self attunement. Because when I can meet myself, oh, hey, now I'm present. I can now meet with you.
Oh, that's so beautiful, Gloria. Like when I can meet myself, I can meet you. Yes,
Mhm.
yes. All healing is relational. And that leads us beautifully into our next episode.
Yeah. That's going to be the voices of calm, releasing hidden emotional blocks with advanced biofeedback, voice biofeedback. And that's with Deepak Chari.
Oh, that's going to be so interesting. So, Deepak Chari is an engineer and a certified biofeedback specialist, helping women and men release hidden emotional blocks from stress, anxiety, and past emotional experiences using advanced voice biofeedback technology. That's
Yeah,
so.
I'm so excited to learn about it. We'll talk about what voice biofeedback is in simple terms and how the subconscious and the ancestral patterns can actually show up in the voice and what becomes possible when those patterns begin to release. There's more calm, confidence, clarity, and freedom. Mm,
Mm. Oh, it sounds like it's going to be a really juicy one, Gloria.
it does, I know.
We're
Oh,
so glad you're here with us today. And until next time, take a breath, tune inward, and remember, all healing is relational.